Our HBCUs sit in spaces that have been the foreground of oppression for the Black community and for Black students. And to learn about the history of HBCUs is to learn about that history of overcoming those challenges, the history of resilience, the history of community engagement that has allowed Black communities and Black people to thrive in spite of the challenges that have been placed before them.
Education technically wasn't meant for us to know since slavery. They never wanted us to read or write. So I feel like with the HBCU, there's so much rooted history in our ancestors being happy that we have a space like this that they couldn't have.
It's a great time for HBCUs to be disruptive and to do what we've done well and what we have been charged with and what we were established to do. And that was the education and training of Black people, minority groups, women, and to give access and the ability to come in and have a higher education experience, whether it's a degree completion program or a credentialing program. It's now a time for us to be thoughtful about how to leverage technology, about how to leverage corporate partnerships, about how to leverage relationships so that we can build the capacity to do what we have been established to do for so long, and that is to create opportunities for wealth building.
Institutional advancement and student advancement is in part an effort within an institution's gates, but must also engage the critical questions that exist outside of an institution's walls. An institution can control as much as it can within its own staff and faculty and students, but if it doesn't embrace new policies that may be considered by legislators, if it doesn't think about the decision making of other key stakeholders or key systems, it can lead to a position where they're not able to embrace the future that they want to pursue. The first is on K-12 partnerships, which focuses on that pipeline that's bringing students into our institutions. We need to ensure that those K-12 systems are preparing our students not only for the education that they'll receive at an HBCU or predominantly Black institution, but also for the world that exists beyond those institutions' walls.
We embarked on this journey at UNCF just over a decade ago to look at how we could embed into our work engagement with Black communities, with K-12 institutions and HBCUs to learn and explore how we could build a better connection between all of those to help communities understand college going is increasingly more important.
We take our students, and when they leave here leaders. And you can talk to them and you can hear that passion of leadership in their voices.
We know that we have to focus on the issues of climate, even if not caused by our own institutions. Number one, because our institutions are going to thrive in the context of a healthy and sustainable planet. And number two, because our institutional students, faculty, and staff have an opportunity to lead the climate change conversation, not only in curriculum and in student activation, but in advocacy, in community empowerment, and in the research that's going to be needed to create the climate solutions that our country will embrace.
It's extremely important that HBCUs have a voice and that they have a seat at the table when we're talking about climate change and climate action, because we know that climate change doesn't affect everyone proportionally, right? There's a disproportionate effect for Black and brown people and people that have limited access or that have lower income. It is most crucial that our voice is heard because we are most predominantly impacted by it.
And we talk a lot about how to infuse HBCU pedagogy and learning and what HBCUs do so well in community building, standing up and supporting people who are looking for economic mobility, social mobility, looking for affordability options, access to higher education or a credential. And so the work that we've done together is on research, on discovery, marketing, and capacity building. What do the operations look like in order for us to be able to do this, not just for year one, but for 5, 10, 25 years down the road?
What are our institutions without the communities? They serve us, the community welcomes us. The churches around here that pick up the students and feed them on Sundays. Communities is just so important. And I think the communities also help the students to realize the importance of potentially one day giving back because they didn't get through this experience by themselves.
When you have the commitment and the understanding from the local community, that is essentially those stakeholders of the institution that's going to partner and be able to buy in, that can give you that support beyond just their dollar amount, but their physical support, their contributions, and be able to tap into their resources to say, hey, we have a mission at Talladega College. We want you to be a part of it. And we want to pour as much as you pour into us. We want to give back to the community. And so being able to partner together, being able to work together, step in unison to ensure that providing those resources for our students. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that our students are successful, and we can't do that alone. We have to partner with our local communities.
We have conversations with our institutions to identify the gaps, challenges, roadblocks, anything that can halt or pause or stop, right, the movement of our institutions. We are able to do critical thinking and problem solving with the institutions to think up ways that can help alleviate some of the challenges our institutions are experiencing. We also have what we call a networked approach to support our institutions. We of the African community understand that it takes a village to raise a child, right? And so that same concept is brought into the work that we do.
This summit is based on the power of what we can do together. And that's why we're excited to bring together HBCU and PBI partners from across the country to see what ideas can emerge from our community and how we can use them to advance the promise of Black higher education.